Recording.
Good evening, guys. Welcome to the Zoom Opportunity Presentation webinar. My name is Dr. Silverman. I live in Alberta, Canada, and as you see a part of my microscope, I practice surgical pathology. I diagnose breast cancers, and here are some of the examples. You may see the trays of breast cancers. I'm very excited to be a part of Michelle and Shawn Poe's team and have them as my not only upline, but most importantly, my friends and my mentors. Let me introduce incredible Mr. Shawn Poe. I happen to know Shawn since Canada was opened in 2013. He came to Edmonton when we have probably 10 people on the team. And since then we grew to, I would say, a whole lot more than that. Shawn is a tremendous leader. He actually started his career in corporate or banking America, actually being quite high in the ladder. He was taking care of some loans at the Wells Fargo Bank, managing big accounts. He was introduced to LifeVantage, and since I know Shawn from 2013, I know that he basically retired himself from a day job doing LifeVantage full time. By now, Michelle and Shawn Poe reached the very, very high rank in LifeVantage. And they're not just, enjoying the laurels and stuff, but they are incredible leaders and supporters of the team. And again, it's Shawn and Michelle basically introduced this webinars. It's their initiative, which is very much appreciated by all of us. So we are blessed and honored to have incredible Shawn Poe as the host, as the co-host, as the major presenter of this Zoom webinar. You go, Shawn.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Sveta. You absolutely are a blessing to Michelle and I's life and so many other people, not only in Canada, but across the United States as well. So we love doing this business with you. And honestly, that's one of the biggest things for me. We got introduced this 6 years ago, Michelle and I, by a friend of ours, Nikki Elsing, a dietitian at one of the heart hospitals here in Sioux Falls. And, Nikki knew Michelle kind of through hanging out on the playground with our daughters when they were in kindergarten, and just the conversations and stuff that happened while you're watching your children play. And she knew that Michelle and I, we were into health, we were into helping other people. And we knew her as a dietitian, she was always inundated with the next best thing. And she was always talking about how, people had brought stuff to her, and it wasn't worthwhile for her to even look into. So we were super surprised when she sent us the ABC primetime video on Protandim and on LifeVantage. And for those of you that have not seen that ABC primetime video, we're kind of assuming that you have at this point. But if you haven't, please after this, go to ABC Liveit, Liveit, abcliveit.com, and check out that ABC primetime video, because that's really where all of this started. Nikki, fortunately, she followed up with us because she had asked us to watch that ABC primetime video. Life got busy. We didn't watch it. And about a month later, she said, I want you guys to come to this meeting that a cardiologist is doing here in town. And like Dr. Silverman, she has vast knowledge of the medical field. We didn't have that knowledge. So we were kind of excited to see a cardiologist talk about the products. We were excited about what happened with that primetime video and kind of the research we had done up to that point. I'll flat out tell you, I was not necessarily excited about the business side of it. I wasn't excited about network marketing. I kind of think that it had a negative stigma in my mind to it. And it wasn't for any particular reason. There wasn't anybody that I knew that had a bad experience. I had never done it, and I had no experience with it. But I just had a negative connotation attached to it. When I got back to work, though, that following Monday, sitting on my desk was a reorganization chart at Citigroup. And, one of the things that I found throughout my corporate career, whether it was at Wells Fargo or Citibank or Citigroup, was that they like to change things quite a bit. And the funny thing about it all was when I looked at that reorganizational chart, it looked like a pyramid. And there was no way that I was going to make more money or I was going to advance necessarily above the people above me. It was kind of that latter approach of I had to wait my turn. And honestly, where I was at, it was probably another 10 or 15 years unless I moved my family somewhere else or I switched companies before my next raise or my next promotion. And that didn't seem right to me. When I evaluated and became open-minded about the network marketing opportunity, what I found was when it's done right with the right people, it's absolutely one of the best ways to do business ever. Now, on the product side, Michelle and I, that's where we became passionate about this company. That's where we got super excited about it. And one of the main reasons you saw Dr. Joe McCord in that ABC Primetime video, in a follow-up video, they talked about him winning a medal called the Elliott Cresson medal. And when we started looking at what that medal was really about, and we were being told that other past winners of that award were people like Alexander Graham Bell and Orville Wright and Henry Ford, we kind of stopped to think about what those people had really done to change the way that we really do business or how we live in the world. And you look at like Orville Wright. What's Orville Wright known for? The airplane. Henry Ford, the assembly line manufacturing process was completely changed with automobiles. And then you look at Alexander Graham Bell, he's probably best known for the telephone. Those are life-changing things. And this doctor, Dr. Joe McCord, he won a medal in the same company of those people for his discovery in 1969 of an enzyme in the body called superoxide dismutase. And he's actually considered the grandfather of free radical research, of aging, of anti-aging. And he spent most of his career trying to find synthetic ways to upregulate this SOD, superoxide dismutase, in the body. In early 2000s, he was approached by a couple other gentlemen, and they said, why are you looking on the synthetic route? That's really the way Western medicine works, but why not look towards, an herbal-based way to increase these types of enzymes, these survival genes in the body? And that's really when the foundation of Protandim and LifeVantage took off. He took an ingredient list of about 40, and he stumbled upon a specific ratio with 5 plant-based ingredients that completely changed everything that we know about anti-aging today. And that's Protandim. That's a flagship product. And to this date, you guys, there is still not another nutraceutical or pharmaceutical in the world that is as powerful as Protandim, Nrf2, at reducing oxidative stress in the body. And that's why ABC came in to do the expose that they did on LifeVantage in that ABC Primetime video. And let's be honest, bad news sells better than good news. So you can't tell me that an expose was going in to make LifeVantage look good. They were making these huge claims, and they wanted to go down and shoot everything down that they were saying. And every one of those exposés that I've seen in the past, they typically end up chasing like the CEO or some high-ranking official in the company down in the parking lot with a camera crew saying, now what? Everything that you've been telling the public is not true. But that's the exact opposite of what happened with Protandim and LifeVantage. Everything that they were saying was true. Oxidative stress is reduced an average of 40% in 30 days. And John Quinones, if you listen to that ABC report, his actually went down over that in 14 days. It's absolutely unbelievable. Okay, I'm a finance guy and the financial industry by experience and background and education. So when they were talking about oxidative stress and free radical damage, things like that, I didn't truly grasp what they were talking about. And the best explanation that I have of what oxidative stress that I think most of you can relate to is if you took an apple and you cut it in half and you set it out on the table, what's going to happen to that apple over a short period of time? Right? It's going to start to brown. It's going to start to have the cells decay. And that's oxidative stress. And the exact same thing happens inside of our body, you guys. Our cells are being stressed with oxidative stress, and they're starting to decay. They're starting to rust from the inside out. The benefit that we have is we actually have a lot longer lifespan or shelf life than an apple, but it gives you kind of that visual of what's going on. You know, I live here in South Dakota, and if we took a bike and we threw it out in our backyard and left it there all winter, what's going to happen to that bike come summertime or come next spring? You know, it's absolutely going to be rusted out. It won't be good anymore. And that's what oxidative stress does to our body as well. Now, that ABC primetime video, when that aired, people got excited about what it potentially could mean inside of their body. And literally millions of dollars worth of orders came in almost overnight. Now, the problem was they didn't have the infrastructure in place or the ability to produce enough product to meet demand. It was a publicly traded company back then like it is today, and the stock actually rose from about $1 a share to $20 overnight just on pure speculation of what this could do inside of people's bodies. And when I heard that it was a publicly traded company, I got excited about that 6 years ago because that was my background. I used to hold my security licenses. I did mutual fund management, portfolio management with Wells Fargo Mutual Funds in Milwaukee when I lived there. And so that was kind of right up my alley. But the scary thing was when I looked at the company, my response to Michelle was, I don't know how they're going to open their doors next month, let alone next year. It was roughly a $10 million company at the time. It was going from 10 to 40 million that year, but they were still losing money. Now, the cool thing about it was when I really started to dig in and understand what had gone on was after that ABC primetime video aired, they made a lot of business mistakes. And this one will kind of highlight all of them in general if you understand this. Dr. McCord was actually reached out to by Oprah Winfrey's people to be featured on her show. He did not return her call because he did not know who Oprah was. I mean, that to me is like the biggest mistake a company could have ever made. Can you imagine if she would have highlighted Protandim and LifeVantage on her show? They would have never had to spend another dollar on marketing ever again. But the reality is they didn't do that. He didn't know who she was. They almost went bankrupt in 2005 and 2007 and 2009. And kind of as a last-ditch effort to save the product and the company, they brought in a guy, David Brown, who actually had the suggestion of looking at network marketing compared to retail sales because that channel wasn't working. They had tried online sales. They tried retail stores like CVS and Rite Aids, places like that, Walgreens, and it sold less than one bottle per store per month. And you know, when they tried network marketing, here's what happened. They actually outsold the retail channels by over 300%. And after a 6-month period, they completely pulled it off the shelves. And since that period of time, the only way to get it is from person-to-person distribution. Now, getting back to causes of oxidative stress, why is this even important to you? Well, everything around us really causes oxidative stress. We cannot avoid it. If you guys live in an area like us in South Dakota where the wind blows a lot, even if you're in a city, I guarantee you that the air being blown around contains herbicides and pesticides from our farmland. Poor diet can cause it, radiation, our cell phones, our computers, just aging, sitting here, our cells are producing oxidative stress. Breathing, exercise, smoke, alcohol, all of those things add to the oxidative stress levels in your body. Well, as oxidative stress builds up, what happens? What's the bad side effect? Well, the side effect is pretty much every disease that you can think of is at its root cause related to oxidative stress. We're talking about heart disease, fibrosis, hypertension, ischemia, skin problems like sunburn, psoriasis, dermatitis, kidney problems, chronic kidney disease, joint problems like rheumatoid arthritis, psoriasis, lung problems like asthma, COPD, cancer, allergies, brain issues, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, OCD, ACH. You guys know people that are affected by all of these things? Chronic inflammation in the immune system, lupus, MS, cancer again, blood vessel problem, eye problems, macular degeneration, cataracts. It goes on and on and on. There's a site that you can go to. It's actually called pubmed.gov, pubmed.gov. And that's, as a finance guy, that's where I send people to really look at what is related to oxidative stress. Go in there and search oxidative stress in any disease state that you're thinking of, and pretty much all of them that we've ever looked up have oxidative stress attached to it at the root cause. So if you could reduce oxidative stress in the body by 40% in 30 days, to me it's an absolute no-brainer that people are going to want to get this into their bodies. And we're very used to hearing things like antioxidants, right? It's a huge marketing term. People talk about antioxidants. Companies use it as a marketing term all the time. Well, what's the difference between activating your body to produce enzymes that are antioxidants as opposed to consuming antioxidants? Well, anything that you consume, these are called direct antioxidants, and they actually work on a 1-to-1 ratio. Whereas when you turn on your own body's enzymes, they can work at a 1,000,000-to-1 ratio, and they're not consumed as they're used. So the amount of direct antioxidants that you would have to consume, you can't possibly do it. Our body has a huge pharmacy inside of it, and when it's working optimally and you can remove the stressors on the body, it can do amazing things. And that's why we see such a huge benefit with this technology. And that's really what it is, you guys. It's not the pill itself that's the miracle. It's activating this pathway in the body called Nrf2. And when you activate that body, what it does is the human genome is like 25,000 light switches. And through the mapping project, we know what position every single one of those light switches should be in. They either should be on or they should be off. And as we age, each one of us in different, quantities, stuff that should be on gets turned off and stuff that should be off gets turned on. And when you activate this pathway, it goes back and it fine tunes those switches and puts them back into the right position. So those good survival genes, things that like glutathione and catalase and SOD, it turns those gene pathway, it turns those genes back on. But it also downregulates things like inflammation and fibrosis. And we know that inflammation and fibrosis are horrible on the body. Now, my skeptical mind when we first started hearing about this was, if this is so good and this is such a big deal, why aren't pharmaceutical companies producing synthetic versions of this? Because if they did, they would make billions of dollars. And the fact of the matter was, they were and they still are today trying to produce synthetic versions. To date, there's only been one that's received FDA approval that's on the marketplace. It's actually a drug called Tecfidera. It used to be known as BG12, and we watched it through the FDA approval process. And the funny thing about that drug is, and it's a good drug, but it's still a drug. The company behind it, Biogenetic, they actually did research where they compared it head-to-head against other known Nrf2 activators, one of them being Protandim. Their own research showed that Protandim was twice as potent at activating this pathway as their drug. Now, this drug has been in the marketplace since around March of 2013. The first year it was on the market, it did over $1 billion. It does over $1 billion a quarter, you guys, now. Still today, it's doing $1 billion a quarter, and it's half as effective at activating this pathway in the body. That's absolutely crazy. It costs people over $50,000 a year to take. And our all-natural product with no known side effects, no known drug interactions, 1/100th of the cost. It's $40 a month. That's absolutely crazy to me, and that's why we get so excited about what we have our hands on. Now, Nrf2, there was a Washington State University review article that they looked at all the research that had been done. And this review article went on to say that Nrf2 may well become the most extraordinary therapeutic and most extraordinary preventive breakthrough in the history of medicine. You guys, even if that's half true, Can you imagine knowing about this before the average person? There's patents on the products. There's 6 US patents, 6 more international patents. It gets better and better. The National Institute of Health, they have a branch called the National Institute of Aging. They actually had a study that came out relatively not that long ago on life extension. And they came out to find that Protandim was the only supplement proven to extend lifespan. It's the only supplement ever been proven to expand life. And you know, that's where I can't believe where we've come in the last 6 years with the research that we have our hands on. 6 years ago, there were 7 studies in PubMed.gov, peer-reviewed research. We were just talking with somebody from another company, and they were talking about how their company's product was also in PubMed. And when we started asking them about it, it wasn't their product that was in PubMed. It was actually just one of the ingredients in their product that was on PubMed. We actually have published studies on our entire product. It was featured in Circulation, the American Heart Association's journal, arguably the #1 cardiology journal in the world. Not too long ago, we had a second pathway in the body that we have a product for. It's called Nrf1. So Nrf2 is to reduce oxidative stress, to upregulate and downregulate specific genes in the body. Nrf1 goes in and it activates a pathway that helps the mitochondria in the cell. Again, I'm a finance guy, but what I remember from school about mitochondria is they're the powerhouses of the cells. They're the energy, right? And as we age, the mitochondria starts to become damaged and starts to decay, and there's not as many of them there. When this pathway is activated, it actually increases the health of the mitochondria within your cells, and it also increases the number that are there. So imagine that you're producing more energy and you have more ability. What would that do for your overall health? Now, this is kind of like the yin and yang, the shampoo to the conditioner. You have to use them both together because you don't want to increase that mitochondria in the cell and produce, more energy, because what happens when you produce more energy? Think about your car. If you went outside and you left your car idling, is there going to be exhaust? Absolutely. But if you went out and you revved up the engine, is there going to be more or less exhaust? There's going to be more. And so you're taking that Nrf1 product, it's increasing the mitochondria and the energy in the cells, but you also need that Nrf2 product to kind of come and clean up the waste that's being left in the cells there as a result. So they absolutely are a 1-2 punch there. We got super excited a couple of years ago after we found out what it was when we had the launch of Axio. Axio is a product that we now call brain food. It's not an energy drink. It's not an energy supplement. It's brain food. And what it's doing for people is it's increasing focus, kind of lifting that brain fog. When I was in the corporate world, I'm telling you, I saw people walk around kind of in that zombie state all day long. And they were reaching for coffee or Red Bulls, Monsters, pop, just all day long. And this is a healthy alternative to that really stimulates the neurotransmitters in the brain. It's good for you. Then we have the Physique line that came out not too long ago as well. And this is about weight management. But the other line that I'm super excited about is the True Science, the skincare line. This is absolutely fabulous. Louisiana State University, they did a study on skin cancer, on melanoma. And they found that oxidative stress, reducing oxidative stress using the Nrf2 pathway is vital in helping with melanoma, with skin cancer. And their suggestion was create a topical formula. And that's what we did. We created a topical version and an Nrf2 activator for the outside in. We've got the inside out approach with Protandim Nrf2. The True Science line is a regimen designed to fight our largest organ and help the skin, protect the skin. I could go on and on about the products, you guys, and the science, but just follow up, do your due diligence, and be open-minded about this, because I know it sounds too good to be true, but I'm telling you, when you start to see the science behind it, that's why we're attracting so many medical professionals like Dr. Sveta Silverman, who's probably one of the most prestigious breast cancer doctors in all of Canada. And I know for a fact she's one of the leading authorities in all of the world on Nrf2. She absolutely blows my mind with her knowledge. Now, when I told you that you can no longer go into GNC or CVS or Rite Aid to get the products anymore, where do you get them? The only ways to get the product is as a customer of a distributor or as a distributor at this point. It's person-to-person distribution. And the thing about person-to-person distribution and businesses in general, you want to get there before the majority of people know about something. You want to be in the phase that's really the early adapters or the innovators, because when a company lasts long enough, it goes through a phase called momentum. And I always liken this in the business world to like Apple. Most people had no idea about the Apple iPhone, the original one. Very, very few people. Even the iPhone 2, there weren't many people that knew about it. And the iPhone 3, it started to become more of the early adopters that were using it, but it did not create momentum until really the iPhone 4 came out. And then, now we're on the version 7 where everybody knows about it, and there's those few people that are still walking around with the flip phone, but almost every single person has some sort of smartphone device. And it didn't take very long for that to happen. And I think that that's what we're going to see here with Nrf2 and the other sciences that our company is based upon. Over the course of time, it's not going to be a matter of if you're taking a Nrf2, it's which one. And we already have a decade's head start on the science behind our product to really validate it with the community as more and more people understand what they have their hands on. Now, when I looked at network marketing, I didn't really have an excitement to go out and do it as a business. I worked full-time. Michelle worked full-time. We had an online business, 2 little kids. It was kind of the last thing on our mind. But when we get excited about something, we naturally start to share it with our friends and our family. And as we started to share it, we were fortunate that we had signed up with the business side of this just because of how much product came with the business kit. And we knew even if we didn't get off the starting line, we had our money back in product. And so what we were looking at was we would share this with our friends and our family. We would help them get the product, but that was it. And we started to receive these thank you checks from the company. And once we started to receive those, we kind of had to take a step back and say, is this something real? My joke with her at first was if we were successful network marketers, we'd go get a Redbox movie and a bottle of wine and we'd celebrate. But the reality is we now know that there's part-time, full-time, and honestly life-changing money that people can make, not only in this industry, but with LifeVantage. The ranks in the company, they go from Pro 1 to Pro 10. The ranks of Pro 1, 2, and 3, that's $100, $250, $500 a month residually. And if you do nothing else in 2017, promise me this, you'll find a way to get residual income in your life, because when you do, it changes everything. In the corporate world, I traded time for money. I show up for 2 weeks, I get a check, right? I show up for another 2 weeks, I get a check. I stopped showing up January of 2012. Guess what they stopped doing? They stopped sending me checks. Michelle, she was always commission-based. We love that for the simple fact that the harder she worked, the more she did, and the better she was, the more she got paid. But guess what happened on the first of every month? It started over and she had to do it again. When you find a vehicle that produces residual income, you get paid over and over and over again for doing something once. And there's not a ton of different ways that you can receive residual income. So I'm telling you, investigate how you can find a vehicle that gets it in your life. Now, the baby boomer generation, I like to use them as an example because the levels of Pro 4 and Pro 5 in our company, they can make an average of $1,000 and $2,000 a month respectively. And to me, that's part-time income. It's supplemental income. And you can't tell me 30 or 40 years ago that these baby boomers, the idea of retirement back then is the same as it is today. And the fact of the matter is, most people have not saved enough money to live the same lifestyle that they're accustomed to today when they retire. So what are their choices? They either live off of less money or they continue to work. So if I could roadmap out for them how to make an extra $1,000 or $2,000 a month residually, do you not think that that'd be attractive to them? And then like Pro 6, Pro 7, $5,000, $10,000 a month. For most people, that's full-time money being replaced in their household. And then you look at the ranks of Elite Pro 8, 9, and 10. This is generational wealth, you guys, $20,000, $35,000, $80,000 a month. And the money isn't everything about this, but I'm telling you, it makes a difference. The average bankruptcy in the United States could be avoided with an extra couple $100 a month. I knew that for my collection work that I did in litigation work in the student loan department of Citigroup. And I also know that about 80% of all not bankruptcies, but divorces wouldn't happen if you took off the financial stress out of that relationship. And if this isn't you guys, I do promise you that you have friends and family that will go to bed tonight praying for something to change in their life. They're absolutely looking for a way out, something that's going to be different than it is currently today. I could go on and on about both the products, the science, the business, but I want you to do me this favor. You should have already heard this information once before. This is kind of recapping everything that you've been told. Do the person that invited you a favor tonight and let them know where you stand. Okay, if this isn't for you, that's okay. What I would ask is that if something new changes with the company, maybe we go into a new country or a new product, new science comes out, that we can just get that in front of you, maybe every 3-4 months. We just tell you kind of an update on what's going on. If you have questions about what you've heard to make that yes or no decision, let us know what those questions are so we can send you to the right place to get the information. I think the American Heart Association is a lot more credible than a blogger on the internet. So let us point you in the right direction to get your information. And then if you want to do the business, or you want to be a customer, let them know that too. Customers pay the exact same price as distributors, and I love that for the simple fact that if you don't see value in the business, you don't have to do it. About 85% of our business is customer based, and I love that. You know, I don't have to talk people into doing the business if they don't see it like I see it. But if you're sitting there and you're Rolodexing other people in your head that could see value in taking these products or joining the business as well, strongly consider doing the business side, because I'm telling you, at some point in time, that window of opportunity closes. That doesn't mean you can't make money when it's at the top of that S-curve, but it starts to become a lot more challenging. The people that take advantage of the momentum, are the people that get there first, and that's really what we're talking about. Okay, so there's 3 different levels that you can get involved in the company as far as the business side, and then I'll wrap it up. The first one is it's the silver pack. $300, it comes with some product, okay, and it opens up the compensation plan for you to get rewarded. The gold pack, $600, comes with a little bit more product. It's actually a little bit more discounted as well, and then it gives you some different advantages for doing the business as far as going to some events. The version that I would do and that I've seen over and over and over again to prove the most successful way to enter this business is the $1,200 pack called the Platinum Pack. If I was going to join the business again tomorrow, I absolutely would sign up with the Platinum Pack because it comes with the most product. It's the most discounted pack that we have. You have over your money back in product alone, even if you never got off the starting line, which what I was saying that, you know, kind of was our default at the very beginning. But it also comes with some other advantages on the business side that the value of it's worth way over $1,700. And think about what people are looking for. Are people that you know of, are they into health? Are they into maintaining their body? They're looking for anti-aging products. And most people are. Most people are already consuming products that they think are similar to this, but I'm telling you, this is in a league by itself. This is not a supplement. It's not a nutraceutical, really. It's nutrigenomics. It's getting your body back doing what it was designed to do when you were younger. That's the key to all of this, is getting your body back doing what it was designed to do when you were younger. So with that, I'll wrap it up. If there's anything that Michelle and I can help with, please let us know. Again, get back with the person that invited you on this webinar tonight. Let them know where you stand. We look forward to meeting any of you that are joining here soon. Reach out to us, introduce yourself. We're excited to have more people on board and take this journey with us. Take care. Have a great night.